I am the Hood of Oz, and here I'm reviewing the recent episode, part 1 of week 2 of The Mole. From where we left off, we lost several, 11 competitors remaining, and the first task they had was Speed Reader. Huh, okay, simple name. Basically, they split off in very weird teams. I'm not sure if the program thought too much about this particular task. I wasn't too much of a fan of it. Three pairs basically pick a sort of category to write up on a sheet of paper that was going to be spotted by three other guys. Now, they had to spot it from a distance, which made it much more harder to read what they had written. But some of them got the general idea of how to do it. It was a little too complex for me. They actually had to guess the name of several things within a category, such as one was movies. Z was the clue on the paper, and they guessed Zoolander, and several other Z movies, which I didn't really understand how they ended up earning 17,000. The pairs were allowed to pick two categories, in which for the others to guess from, and then the others would have to write down what they saw and spotted while they're going in their speedboat, and then the last two had to guess what the other three had written down, which is very difficult to understand. It was like a very bad Chinese whispers. The pairings were the reading pair was Sean and Linda. The three guys in the water was Mozzie, Alex, and Sam, and the pairs were Ali and Nick, Halal and Kerry, and Asia and Aaron. We did have one slip up. Asia and Aaron spilt the paint all over their second sheet of paper, but they came back from that and they managed to actually have the boys figure out what they had written, which is just pretty good. If the mole was in that pair and deliberately spilled the paint, then they obviously didn't do a good enough job. We had Ali and Nick write Cities B. The boys didn't get that. And they also wrote boy's name A. They didn't get that either. Girl name V. They couldn't read it. They can't read those words, name and girl and cities and boys. Z, movies, which they figured out pretty quickly. I think the letters that Asia and Aaron wrote up was C, N, T, R, Y, and then E in undercapitalized, which probably threw off the guys a fair bit, considering they read E about 3 times. I believe they were trying to say country. And then but they got fruit and O, orange. There we go, pretty easy. I don't know how they won money, but they won $1,700. Yay! No thanks to Ali or Nick. Task 2, it was Map Madness, and basically they had 2 teams, and from those 2 teams, a navigator each. The navigator would be put on top of this tower where they could spot basically a lot of Melbourne, and they would direct their own team to clues. They'll lead them to a set destination, which was our Shura, our host. Yeah, so we had a bit of coordination for a lot of the first half of the task between both the navigators, since they were next to each other, and team that got there first would earn the navigator and their whole team a little freebie pin. I can't remember what it's called. Do post it up if you happen to remember. And basically you could use that if you got a wrong answer in one of the mole quizzes. you could use that to rewrite that question to be correct. Or just rewrite any answer you got wrong, which is pretty nice. I mean, you don't have to select one which you thought you got wrong. And fortunately, both teams got there in time, and they earned $5,000 for that. One team before the other. The teams for the Map Madness was Mozzie, Aaron, Nick, and Linda on one team, with their navigator Asia, who happened to be not very good at navigating, and they were the team that came second. The team that came first was Sean, Ali, Sam, Alex, Kerry, and Hilal as their navigator. Who, unfortunately, that team, they weren't really wanting to share their clues with the other team. It was very, you would have to say it was very selfish. They weren't going to share it with Hilal, who couldn't then share it with Asia, who couldn't share it back to their team, so they could coordinate to get that $5,000, because one team wants that freebie. And surprise, we've been expecting this by the ads. We had a surprise mole quiz just popped up on everyone. So after 2 tasks, they just throw that in. That's a bit mean. I mean, even if you got immunity in the first week, if you still haven't got any idea, you wouldn't have much of a chance in the mole quiz. So we had questions like, in Map Madness, where did the mole start? In Map Madness, did the mole get a freebie? Who is the mole? Is the mole male or female? Those are the only questions I saw. Anyhow, we had Asia, Nick, Ali, Sean, Aaron, Linda, and Mozzie. They didn't share who they thought it was this week, but we had Alex thinking it was Sam, think it was Asia, Kerry think it was Alex, and Hilal thought it was Mozzie. And Hilal got a bit of surprise, and I suppose a lot of us did, when Mozzie got eliminated. First, Nick was safe, Hilal was safe, then Mozzie, gone. So, I'm having a bit of a tough time reviewing this one. There's not much mole work that could be done that was too obvious. For example, if you led a team in the wrong direction for Map Madness, you would be counted very suspicious. Probably too suspicious even. And task 1, if you fail to communicate on the sheet of paper, yeah, that could be mole work. It depends on the message your pair picked and how you wrote it up. For example, fruit O and movie Z was basically pretty well done. But girl named V, boy's name A, it was too hard to read from the boat. But that's another thing. A boat reader could simply not get that at all. If they were the mole on the boat, they could not help at all. They could come up with some random gibberish to throw off the readers, Sean and Linda. And Sean and Linda could simply not try hard enough in the reading, but I think that would be a little bit obvious too. I would like feedback on this. I'd like some opinions to help me clarify what would be a mole act and what would not be a mole act. Anyhow, that's part 1 of our second week into the mole. I'm the Hood of Oz. Thanks for listening.